I would like to talk about my experience in learning a new language. My mother tongue is Russian, but I know English pretty fluently. I know French and a little bit of German. I also studied Chinese for a while, so I can write something in it on a basic level. Um, so I'll try to narrow this broad topic down to some steps that you can follow if you would like. Uh, while I approach a new language, I try to take as much time with a professional in it, but not necessarily a really great professional. So I choose my teacher so that it is within my budget range. Because while you're making your first steps, you don't necessarily need a person who speaks it fluently, even. Maybe a student is just who just wants some side money, like pocket money, or a native speaker who doesn't have a special education for that. Anyone will do. This professional will be good for you for A2 and A1 and A2 levels, I think. Maybe B1, but not more than that. While you are studying a language, like while you are making your first steps to A1 or A2, like beginners and elementary level, you should always put as much work as you can, because you see you don't know any words in this language. So any word you learn, it will be good. Not necessarily from your workbook, your book, your study materials. Just you look at the window and see how do you say it in, for example, German, and you translate those words, and you don't need to memorize them in any special way for like your first steps. Just see, notice, Google Translate it, and try to make a mind map with that word. Maybe some allegories, anything you can, but not push it too much, because you might feel burnt out in like a year or so. Um, then I would recommend watching cartoons, because the language is pretty simple, because it's for young children who also don't know that language, they don't know any language. The words will be pretty basic, and they will be used in a day-to-day life. All that, like months, numbers, animals, routine things about like the apartment, like words that would say about like professions, stuff like that. They will all be in the cartoons, and they will be very simple. The speed of the language will be apprehendable, so why not? And you'll learn a lot with them. As you start to build up your vocabulary, you might want to transfer to some easier films or serials, series. You can watch sitcoms such as Friends. They also don't have a lot of tricky vocabulary. It will be pretty basic and very needed in day-to-day life, but there are also some idioms. You don't need to feel overwhelmed by them. I would recommend watching it, of course, in a language that you want to learn, with the subtitles of that language, and also with the subtitles of your native language or English if you know it fluently, because you also will train your reading and translating from reading skills, as well as listening. And if you repeat phrases, it will be the greatest part, because you will also train your speaking. When you have built up your knowledge so that you are confident in some grammatic structures, maybe like present simple, past simple, and future simple, I would suggest downloading an app called Tandem or HelloTalk. any. There are other apps, and you can download any of them. But the thing that you need to know about them is that you can get yourself a native speaker or a person who speaks the language fluently to just chat with you. You can do voice calls, like voice messages, if you are not confident enough and you want to repeat, try again, make sure it's okay, or just chat. Even just chatting with letters, not with voicemails, makes so much progress in your written language. For example, in French, you have a lot of accents, and while you are typing them, you memorize them verbally, and it slowly but surely goes deep within your knowledge, and it stays there. If you are privileged enough to go to a summer school in a country, the language that you are trying to learn, or maybe just a summer camp that is in that language, I would 100% recommend doing that, because it will put you in a situation where you are not, when you're not comfortable, and you will make yourself comfortable after a certain period of time. Like after 1 week, you'll still feel bad, for example. Not bad, but it will be really hard in the beginning. You'll feel overwhelmed by things that you don't know. You'll feel uncomfortable talking in that language because you understand that you have an accent, and now you understand what language people are actually using, not the one that is taught in the even in films. It's not necessarily the language that people speak day to day. You'll see the differences, and after 1 week, you'll not be the same person regarding that language. So if you don't have an opportunity to get funding, for example, for such camps, because they can cost a lot of money due to visa reasons and the flight reasons, in addition to the program fees. You might want to consider such options as work and travel when it comes to the United States, au pair when it comes to Europe, and maybe several countries that are not in the European Union. Yeah, I think that those are the main ones, but there is also an analog of work and travel in Canada. You may find some apprenticeships with your language level, but they all come down to working in entry-level jobs. For example, as a waitress or a waiter in the restaurant, as a nanny, maybe building something, working with your hands. This work will not be easy, or maybe not perfectly suited for the person. But if you want to learn German and you come to au pair in Germany, the family that is going to have you as a nanny, they will be nice to you, and they will speak English language because it's a requirement, and you'll be in such a situation where there is no other way than learning a language. So psychologically, you'll be programmed to make sure you are talking in German when you are ordering food, when you're buying food or buying something in the shop. You'll be talking in German with the baby that you are sitting with, and all the day-to-day things will be in the language that you're trying to learn, for example, German. This is also a great opportunity to study or work in the country that you are having the au pair in, because you already have experience living there. You can prove to maybe the embassy if you need to do so, or to the country that you are applying for, that you'll be a great fit because you already have been for a while, maybe for even 2 years or as much as you want to. You already had experience moving to that country. It all makes a huge difference from the applicants that don't have that experience. Generally, when applying to other jobs in other countries, in other languages, this experience will be very valuable. Very, very great point. So this is how to master a language after a certain level. I would. There are a lot of people that think that you can learn a language without anyone's help, and I agree with that partially, but I don't think it's a necessary option because you can always find people who are willing to give you the knowledge of that language for a really low price. For example, in Italki, it's an iPhone app. I'm not sure about Android. They have a lot of teachers of English, German, I don't know, French, Chinese, Slovenian, Ukrainish, Russian, so many languages for like $10 per hour, which is not that much money. And by having someone support you for that journey, make sure you are consistent within your journey. Like the timetable of your lessons, make sure you study it every week. Because if you're studying on your own, you may have other plans, other things to do, and sometimes you lack the motivation, and it's okay because it gets hard after a certain period of time. And to overcome that barrier, to make sure you go further and you master the knowledge, a teacher helps you with that. You may not have your homework with you. You may not be prepared, but still, with the teacher, you will learn something else and master something else. Make sure you don't have some mistakes, and etc. I would also recommend filming some videos, maybe TikToks, maybe an Instagram blog, not for people around you, but not to monetize it and anything like that, not to make it a professional blog, but just to yourself. Maybe do a YouTube channel speaking on a topic that you are particularly interested in day-to-day life, in the language that you are trying to learn. You will see how you speak and how you actually look while speaking, and while you replay it and maybe redo the videos, you master the knowledge really, really greatly. Because you see, if you watch some movies, listen to podcasts, listen to music in that language, you have an understanding how people speak the language, how they speak maybe day-to-day phrases, how they pronounce them, and what emotions they have on their face. And when you are comparing them with what you do, you start to see the differences, and you start to mentally change them when you are speaking it another time, at another time, somewhere else with a person, for example. Because sometimes you are not confident enough to say something to your partner, talking partner, and it's okay. You've never done that before. So to make that transition a little bit smoother, a little bit easier, you may want to do it with yourself. Maybe do voice messages and just hold your phone, say something on a particular topic, then replay it, see how it goes. Maybe it's really great and you're okay with that, so you can start talking with foreigners. And if not, you can master it, but not don't make it a burden if you don't like it. Just practice makes perfect, surely. When it comes to using the language you are learning for professional or studying goals, you start to consider different certifications such as IELTS, TOEFL, FCE, SAT, and many others. Those certifications assume that that you have a certain level, and then with that level as a skill, you train how to take and pass those tests, because they are all different. They are all for different purposes. Some of them are more professional, some of them more technical, some of them require you to be more creative, and they see how you feel the language, how confident you are in it, and some of them just want you to use specific standards and follow them, but follow them surely. Sometimes you need templates to learn them, and it really helps when you have a specially trained professional who is teaching you the language. So I was talking about English, but it may be any language, like Goethe certificate in German, and in French I know there are, like DELF. A person who is teaching you the language, even if it's like a native speaker, he or she might not know what is needed when you are taking those tests. And especially trade professional, there are just specific rules, and there are a lot of them. So to wrap your head around them, you need a person who is specialized in it. He or she is not going to teach you the language. Here is the thing. It's two different things. What I wanted to say else is while I was preparing for my IELTS examination, I already had a language level of B2 C1, and I wanted to push it further to C1 C2. And what I did was I followed the learning route not of IELTS mastery, but I took the TESOL certification in Arizona State University. You can find it on Coursera or on Arizona State University website. It costs something about $100 per month, and there are 8 courses that you need to follow to become a professional for teaching English as a second language, and making sure your students are prepared for TOEFL and IELTS examinations. So this certification is pretty hard. The assignments are pretty time consuming, and you need to write in them, so it's not tests that are usually prepared in Coursera. So you need to put in a lot of effort and time, but while you're getting ready for that certification, you get a lot of knowledge that you didn't know before, and a lot of points of view that you didn't know before. So in order to get good results in the tests, you need to be prepared more than you need. So if you need an 6.0 IELTS level, you need to be 6.5 or 7, like actually. Because when you're taking the test, you obviously are nervous. You are in a situation that you've never been before. If you are taking it third or fourth time, of course it's not that hard. But for the first time, you are in a situation that you've never been before, and your nervous system just works like that. It makes sure you are not. It feels like you're not safe, and it gives you run and how do you say it? Hit and run strategy or something like that. So if an examiner is asking you a question, you're like, what do I do? How do I answer? I don't know any words, when it's actually obviously not true. So if you are prepared more than you need, you'll be confident and you'll pass it to a better level, of course. Um, if you want to move to another country with the language that you are trying to learn, you may want to consider internships abroad if you have a B2 level of the language. So you're pretty proficient, but not to a level where you are perfectly fine with it. You may go to LinkedIn job search, search for the area that you are interested in, fill out some applications. You may want to do internships remotely because currently a lot of positions are closed due to a great resignation and everyone wanting to work remotely from home. It'll be easier for you, of course, because you don't need to go to another country for that internship. And they may be like 12 months long, and you are still able to do them with your actual work or actual studies, depending on in what situation you are. If you are not accepted to internships, but you are interested in such an experience, I would recommend trying to search for volunteering experience. Volunteering experience does not mean that you will not get paid for it. Sometimes it just means that you will be paid a living wage in the country that you are applying for, or be given food and accommodation. And this may be enough for like a month to 3 months living. It's still an international experience and still a working experience. It's even sometimes more interesting because you're assigned to different projects. You are not fixed in one place. These projects may be from United Nations. They will be connected to making a better world a better place through sustainability goals. It can be environmental goals. It may be refugee help. It may be medical help for elderly people. Maybe it will be something really ecological, so that you will work on plantations in agriculture. Or it will be an office work, which just helps with documents, a company that's needed your help. I can recommend a platform for finding such opportunities. It's called ISEC. It's for students and upper level students up to like PhD. They give you an opportunity to do that maybe exchange year. So you take a gap year from university during your studies and you go to another country and work there. The salary is pretty okay. It's a living wage, but it's enough to live in another country. Also, there is a portal called ESC, which is specifically designed for volunteering opportunities. You can see what's going on there. Also, in all of that opportunities search, you may find yourself like struggling to find the right opportunity, and it just takes time. You need to subscribe to different channels, listen to different YouTubers who are talking about that, asking them about their experience. Maybe something didn't suit them, so they are not giving you the right information, and they may give you that source, and it will suit you. They are just not giving it to the broad auditory. You just need to be immersed in the process, to ask different people, network, go to LinkedIn, ask personally, go to Instagram, go to YouTube, some Telegram channels if you are using it, email different maybe professors if you want exchange experience in that field and you are maybe a student, maybe you are a PhD scholar, maybe you are a fellow, like a postdoc already. It will be easier as the level gets up. Yes, so a funny but a good advice to give as as you are studying another language is to find somebody that you are in love with, to fall in love with, and you'll learn the language so easily. Maybe it will be somebody when you're on a holiday in the country. Maybe you'll find him or her online. It's just it's hard to do that because you cannot expect it to happen, but if it does, it surely does help the process. Yes, so as I mentioned, I am a TESOL specialist, and I can help you in your English journey. I can teach Russian, and I can help you with studying abroad and working abroad. So if you want any help from me, drop me an email or a DM in Instagram. We'll surely make this work out. Thank you for your attention.